in Virginia.
That's what's up. For real? What part? Like Alexandria, Fairfax,
Woodbridge, close to Alexandria.
Woodbridge. Oh, okay, yeah. I know Woodbridge.
My whole family is out there. Everybody.
Okay. Where are you located now?
I'm in Houston.
Big time relocated in Houston. I love it.
Wait, you're in Houston right now?
I'm in Houston, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna be down there in April. I didn't know you was in Houston.
You told me. I was like, you better hit me up.
What's up, good people? Say less. Listen, we see y'all jumping in. If you ain't here, say something. Don't just come up in this.
Right, don't just be watching. Come on, we live, baby.
Wait, so I can tell them to come to your
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go to the YouTube channel for show for facts.
Okay, I'm live on YouTube, y'all. So everybody go and click the link in my bio. You're gonna see the title, the same title. You'll see the same title. It'll take you right to his YouTube.
Yes, we here. We in here, baby.
We live, baby. Talk about it Tuesday, the place where we have conversations in public that most wouldn't have in private.
Wait, so where will I see the comments? Where will I see people commenting like that's interacting? Do I have to be on your YouTube?
You might have to have a second device.
Yeah, you might have to come on the YouTube. But I'll also post the comments like up on the screen.
You see it right.
Okay, I do see that. I see comments coming up on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be posting them up here. What's going on? Chantel up in the building, Ali in the building, Tina is always in the building, Jazzy is always in the building. We love you. We appreciate you. Anitra is up in this joint. Nubia Sunflower, that is the wifey right there, Mrs. Young. Let me get that correct.
Right. You got to put the respect on your name.
Yeah, you feel me? Natanya is up in this joint. What's going on?
Hey, Nikki, what's going on?
Juanita, how you doing, love? What's going on, good people? Hey, listen, y'all filling up early. Y'all must have known.
They knew what was going on. They knew what was going on. They knew. We've been talking. We've been waiting for this.
Yikes. Okay. What's going on? Ashley Williams up in this joint. Teresa, what is going on?
Hey, Team Lynn. I see y'all in here. Team Lynn.
Kenneth Peterson, what's going on? I see you. What's up, Natanya? How you living, love? Jesse Lynn, what's going on? What it do, baby? Jarita, how you doing, love? What is going on? Listen,
Jarita, what's good?
One of y'all, listen, make sure y'all hit the subscribe button right now, okay? It's early. We want to hit the subscribe button right now. Y'all know how we like to start this thing. We like to start this thing by talking about our wins. Somebody tell me something that's going on good. Type your wins in the comment right now. Let us know what's happening good in your life. What's up?
Yeah, Lynn, what you got going on? What's going good in Lynn's world?
Sorry, y'all. I was trying to find a mute. My Mac be playing with me. I be getting lost and oh my God. You know, this couldn't have happened at a more perfect time, y'all, because I actually am about to release an app on iOS and Android, and it should be released in the next 30 days or less. I've been working on it for 7 months now.
Let's go.
And
everybody put the claps in the chat. Put the claps in the chat.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Hey, what's going on? So what's the album called?
The app. So it's an application on iOS. Yeah, it's an app. So it is pretty much a LinkedIn for creators. You know how you can go on LinkedIn to find people to. So it's more so like for people like us, and we want to collab and do videos with people that's more so in your niche. And it's similar to Tinder, like a swipe left, swipe right type of thing. But it's not for dating. It's not dating. It's only to find someone to do content with. That's it.
That is amazing. You know what's crazy? That's wild. Nobody's thought of that already. That's great. Yo,
I did my research so far. It's not out there.
That's crazy.
It's also it's not just for creators. And I want people to understand that. Some people just like connecting and having fun. You want to find a friend that you can just go out and do funny, cool TikTok videos with. It's for creators and, you know, for fun too. People that don't take it like a job.
That's dope. Come on, Lynn. Innovative. Hey, listen. Y'all remember, y'all heard it here. Y'all heard it here on Talk About It Tuesday. You remember
y'all are the first people I actually announced this to.
Listen, we get Talk About It Tuesday exclusives. You know what I'm saying? When she up there with Steve Jobs and, you know what I'm saying, everybody, I know her. I know her. You know what I'm saying? There's proof on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's not released yet. Actually, I meant to write you, Michael, because I have I got 50 testers so far. It's going to be listed on Test Flight on Friday. So anyone that's on my test list will be able to download it, create their profiles, and test it out before it's launched on.
Say less.
Well, now I love it. Let's get it. Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
All right, what's going on, man? What's good? Hey, can I hope you're gonna talk about something specific. If you don't, then I'm gonna say I need you to talk about that thing. What you got going on, good? What you got going on?
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Are we how you feeling?
It's an echo.
Hold on. Am I echoing?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta echo.
Hold on.
Sorry, I'm gonna mute you right now. And we're gonna come back. Go ahead, Mike. Talk to us. What's good, bro?
So I have officially started building my website by hand. This stuff is mad tedious and bro, like it is ridiculous, but I'm really proud of the work ethic that, you know what I'm saying, is going into it, the support that I've gotten from it, you know what I'm saying? So like I've been super diligent. I hit another one of my weight goals for like when it comes to weight training. So I had a lot of PRs, you know what I'm saying, staying focused on that. You know what I mean? Texas is coming up, Ebony Fit Week. I have merch literally officially coming in, talking to vendors. I have the logo drawn up. This joint is going to be crazy. And you know what I'm saying? Like literally, I didn't woke up today. You know what I'm saying? Life be lifing.
Yeah, make big moves all 2024. That's
all
what's up.
2024. All 2024. So we leading the charge, trying to get everybody's mind, body, and soul right. Because if your mind ain't right, then the body don't matter. So
I love it, yo. So for me, this has been it's been a great week, man. It's been phenomenal. I actually just launched my mentor program for the youth. So for the youth, I am doing the same way I do the Winter Circle. I'm doing a youth program now the same exact way. So we are meeting once a week, every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. So for all of your youth that want to come up in that joint, man, definitely let me know. This was created out of necessity. It was not something that was created because I wanted to. This was because I went and I spoke. I had 7 families. They came to me and said, yo, I need you to mentor all of my youth. I need you to do that. So we created it. So another, another little bag coming in, but also making sure that we get more youth activated in their lives, man. Because I realized that across cultures, right? It's the Ethiopian culture that I'm working with right now, and their children are dealing with the same struggles and challenges that our African American kids, our Hispanic kids are dealing with. I talked to my cousin out in Germany last weekend, and he's dealing with the same exact thing with his 12-year-old daughter. The youth is just not motivated. They're not inspired, man. And so what my goal is to help all of the youth get in their bag. Kaden, what's going on? Talk to us.
What's going on? I'm sorry. I was on daddy duty. I still am, but when she come in here, y'all will hear her. But
all good.
I also forgot my drink downstairs, but it's okay. I
go get it. You good? Because you're gonna need it.
I'm gonna need my drink.
You might need your drink.
What Gabrielle Union say? For tonight,
we're gonna need more wine. Heard you. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna mute myself.
For sure.
I got you.
All right, so would you talk about the specific thing?
Huh?
You said you was going to ask about a specific thing.
Oh yeah. I got I saw a YouTube video today, man.
Oh,
you ain't say nothing about it. I saw a YouTube video today. It popped up on my timeline on my feed on YouTube. I'm like, he ain't even say nothing about it.
All right, so yeah, because I forgot that because we had already talked about it, but this is the recap.
But the YouTube video just launched, so we got to talk about the YouTube video.
Facts. We dropped a YouTube video of a poetry workshop that I did at the Pittsburgh Children's Museum. So it was I had 3 groups. You know what I'm saying? And Jeff ain't lying. Like if you don't have nothing to talk about for an hour seems forever. I was up there for 3.5. You feel me? Now, now, mind you, I was very well prepared because I have prepared people in my circle. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jeff. But it was amazing. Like he was saying, being able to touch the youth, right? And this was like playing connect the dots. I had to connect MLK with poetry, and I did that through superheroes. You know what I'm saying? So we took the kids through figuring out what are specific powers and what is a superhero. What are some real life superheroes? Why was Martin Luther King a real life superhero? These are the things that we see every day. Do you have a best friend? How do you treat your best friend? What did Martin Luther King do for the society that was like best friends? If you could create a superhero, what powers would they have? If you are a superhero, what powers would you have? How can you be a superhero today like Martin Luther King? So it was literally like playing hopscotch with kids, but it was an amazing event. Please go check out the video. I got a preview video on TikTok, but the whole video is up on the YouTube. Please go check it out.
Yes, I love it. Katie, you gotta unmute yourself because you muted. I tried to unmute you, but okay, there we go.
Myself.
So we got a couple things to talk. Do y'all want to jump right into that, or y'all want to go? Because I had a couple of things to talk about first, or I mean not first, but also in addition. But because everybody's opinion in these other things would be great too.
I don't have a vote. I would just sit back and let things go how they go.
let's do a video and then hop in the lens.
All right, cool. So it's actually not a video. It's actually, I want to talk about Monique on Club Shay. Shay has went super viral, right? And there's also been some recent clips and stuff like that with her son that has been talking and stuff like that, saying that his mom wasn't there for him. And so I kind of want to get you all's perspective on what does it mean, number one, to be there for your kids, but then number two, as someone who is trying to live out their particular dream and what they have, are you willing to make the sacrifice, and what sacrifices and to what extent of sacrifices are you willing to make, right? Because her kid is like, yo, my mom wasn't there, but Monique also in turn became super rich. You know what I'm saying? My dad wasn't always present. He was very present, but he wasn't always present. And my man didn't become rich. So like I mean, maybe I would take the absenteeism. I would take the absenteeism if you're gonna be rich. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What's y'all thoughts? Like what level, to what extent can parents make sacrifices in terms of being able to spend time and be there for their kids to also create generational wealth for their families?
Well, I don't have any kids. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure. I couldn't really speak on that. But I can say that for a while, I felt like my father wasn't present. It wasn't until I grew up and understood the responsibilities of a man. It was like, all right, cool. Well, he was there for, you know what I'm saying, maybe 7 out of 10 baseball games. And as a kid, I'm like, oh, but you missed 3. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking about, okay, you got to work. So the lights is on and I have food and lunch money and I could play baseball. You know what I mean? So I think each household is different, and how you communicate with your kids and how you spend the time that you do have. Because there are some times where parents may be present, but they're not present. You see what I'm saying? Like they're in the house, but I'm not engaged. Like Jeff, you said you take an hour out to like just you and your boy. You know what I mean? Like there's times where like a parent could take a kid to the park and still be on the phone all day. It's just like, all right, cool. You might have been here, but you weren't present. You know what I mean? And there's some people who are like, you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, there's people who are in the military. They see their kids 4 or 5 times out of the year, but when they are there, they are present. So it's just, I feel like that's a case by case basis for real. And a lot of times I feel like stars, I mean, you have it a little harder because your life isn't really private. You know what I mean? Like your kids, sometimes people get entitled, like, oh, well, I got money, and you know what I'm saying, but my mom and dad is not here. You know what I'm saying? Or there's people that's like, oh, my mom was here, but we was broke. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a toss-up. What's y'all think?
So I am a parent. I have 2 daughters. I'm obviously not rich, but I feel like I would never sacrifice my relationship with my kids to be rich per se, right? When I grew up having money. My mother, we grew up upper middle class, and my mother, I'm currently no contact with my mother. I haven't spoken to her since my child was born, which is 2014, right? And I won't because she wasn't present. I actually just saw the video of Monique's son today, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but everything that he was saying resonated, and I think that's why I couldn't watch the whole thing. I was a little triggered because yes, Monique said that she wasn't there, and it's giving to me lack of accountability and lack of, okay, son, let's sit down and hash this out. My thing is, granted, she was getting that bag, she was getting that money, cool, good for her, wonderful. But you can't even enjoy that with your kid now. Yes, you have 3 other kids, or however many other kids you have. I remember he said something about daddy saying that he has 3 sons, right? He kept calling him daddy, so I'm calling him daddy too. But like, I would want to be able to share that wealth with all of my kids. And honestly, the more money I'm getting, the more present I'm going to be for my kid. You don't get more money and then back away from your kid. You get more money and go towards your kid. Because a lot of the times, I get it when you work in 2-3 jobs and you don't really have the time, but you still make the time. But when you got the money, you better hire you a in-house nanny and have that child on your hip with you. There's really no excuse for her not having been there. She just wasn't being the best mother, because I don't think it had anything to do with whether or not she was just like a horrible person. It was her lack of trying, and she even said that in her interview. So he didn't say nothing that she didn't say. He's just expounding on it, and I feel like he has every right to feel that way, because at the end of the day, you gained all this money, but I didn't have a parent.
Okay, so
which is what I wanted more than anything.
Okay, so I understand, because I can't tell you how to feel or how you feel. So if she apologizes, right? She from what I heard, allegedly, right? We got to say allegedly. Allegedly, she apologized, right? She took accountability for not being there, right? I don't know if she took accountability. I'm just saying.
Right, I was about to say, did she apologize or did she take accountability? Because those are 2 separate things.
From what I saw, it says she apologized. Because I seen the clip too. I didn't see the whole interview, but she claimed that she did apologize, and that at this point it was a matter of if he's going to accept it and for them to move forward. But I feel like I'm not one to comment on something I've never been in. We've never been in a situation, so it's so hard to have an opinion about it. For us to say, "Oh, you got this money," or "She should have did this," you can't really speak on someone until you put yourself in their shoes. So I ain't never been rich. I don't know how it feels to have kids and be rich and not have the time to be with them. You know, we can always think how we would do something, but until you're in somebody's shoes, it's hard to say. And I was conflicted. It's not like we don't want to like downplay how he felt, but then at the same time, I seen the end of Monique's interview when she did talk about how she did apologize.
Yeah. So for me, right, I'm just going to speak from my personal experience. So I had to make a huge sacrifice in that regard, because where I was living in a small town, 10,000 people. Like, if you pee on a cat, the whole town would know about it. Or if you went into the middle of the town and threw up a rock.
Wait, hold on, wait. Where the hell did that saying come from, bro? Like, hold on,
what?
We're not gonna skip past.
We're not just gonna go back.
I think Uncle Jeff.
I don't understand.
I think Uncle Jeff said that to me one time, and I was like, I'm gonna just run with it.
No, bro. All right, okay. Continue. I'm just
and so if you went to the middle of the town, if you threw a rock up, the whole town will be able to see it, right? So I was like, yo, I can't do what it is that I need to do for my daughter here. So I moved 3.5 hours, 200 miles away from my daughter, right? Obviously, I can't be as present as I would like to be for her. But I knew that if I go back to the DMV area, and I spent 11 years there, so I left when she was like 7 or something like that. I knew that if I came back here, I can create a better life for you in the long run, in which I would be able to provide. Now we still talk, we still communicate, we have a good relationship still, but I mean, is the present part the physical? Like I need to be here and be because even my son is 5 months old, and I'm sure he's probably going to play sports. I can't promise, even though you live in the same house, that I'm going to be at every single game. The important one, the first game, the senior night, the playoff games, I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I know I need to be there for those ones. But you got 24 games in a season, bro. I can't promise that I'm going to be at every single game. It just probably isn't going to work out that way. So so you know what I mean? I
agree with you. I agree with you because I did something very similar. Where my oldest daughter actually lives in New Jersey with her other parent, and I live in Texas. And I moved from the upper Northeast area because it was way too expensive for me to be able to actually build a life there, right? And so I had to make sure that I could afford to be a parent. And so I had to do what I had to do. There's a difference between moving to make a better life for your kids and not being around. My whole thing is quality over quantity, right? My father, I lived in South Florida, grew up in South Florida. He lives in the DMV area, right? I only saw him summers every once in a while. I'd be there for the school year or whatever the case may be. But he made sure that when I was in his presence, that I was in his presence. And when I wasn't, he called regularly. He showed up how he needed to show up. It wasn't always about being at the games and stuff because I understood he was in a different state, right? But also he needed to be there as a parent. And even though I lived full time with my mother, my father, who was states away, was still more present than my mother was.
I like it. Okay, got you. Okay, all right. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, I think.
She wants y'all to wave at her so bad. I'm so sorry. Please.
How you doing, beautiful?
Hey.
Okay, I like your ring pop.
They like your ring pop.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, all right.
Don't be catching baby fever. Don't be catching baby fever.
Right.
It's expensive.
Right.
It's expensive.
We gotta go work on number 2 right now.
We got it bad right now.
All right, so let's get into it, Miss Lynn. Let's get into it. So you had a you had a moment, and we want you to describe this recent encounter you had. Can you describe the encounter you had? Talk to us. Talk to the people.
So we don't want to just show the video.
Do we want to show? We can show the video. We can do that. Hold on.
Only because I feel like maybe the way I told the video is what made people so upset. Because I can talk about what happened. I can, I think how I said it, people were kind of like a little.
Okay.
Maybe a little.
Let's show this video.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go to the video evidence.
No, I don't even like listening to myself. I'm just gonna go away until y'all are done.
Oh, hold on. Wait. I'm not ready yet. Pineapples.
No, that
okay.
Sounds good. Perfect. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's get it. Bam, that's it right there. All right, let's do it.
I was transitioning from a female to a man. But let me tell you how I really was ignoring the red flags from day one. So we matched on Tinder, right? Literally the same day. I'm not even going to sugarcoat y'all. Same day we was talking. I don't like to exchange too many conversations on Tinder. I'm like, what's up? Let's talk on the phone. I got a business line. Everybody got this number. It wasn't a big deal to me. Bro, the same day she called me, I answered the phone. I kid you not. I'm sitting here like, am I talking to a man or a woman? Like, I literally went back to her profile picture. I go back, look at her pictures. I'm like, she ain't got no facial hair. I'm like, it says she's like 32. Ain't no way. Like, this is a female. I'm literally texting my friend. I'm like, bro, I think I'm on the phone with a man. I've literally never experienced a transgender hitting on me. So I literally don't know anything about transitioning, but I was genuinely confused. So I started asking her questions, and I purposely said her and she while we were on the phone. Like I wanted her to correct me, like, oh, chill, I'm a he. I'm gonna say they. They continuously let me call them she, her, all that. So boom, after I threw in she and her so many times and she didn't correct me, I'm like, okay, this gotta be a female. We start talking. Y'all, we probably talked for like a week straight before we decided to go on this date. While we were talking, we were getting to know each other, whatever. Also found out she had the same birthday as me and some more other similarities. That was mad weird. We asked him mad questions, and I want to say we also asked questions like, how are you? Are you moody on your period? This girl will say, oh no, I had something was wrong down there, so I actually no longer have a period anymore. That's the second red flag. Remember, the first one was the voice. So then I finally had the courage to ask her, like, yo, why your voice so... This girl goes, I was born like this. My voice has always been like this. Red flag number 3. I believed her. I did. I believed her because I'm like, if she's going to lie, it's going to come out no matter what. So we decided to go on this date, right? We decided to go to like Dave & Buster's. So she had to use the bathroom while we was there. So she literally walks away. And when she walks away, I'm standing right by the bathrooms. And she walks directly into the men's bathroom. Right in front of me. Lynn, why wouldn't you just ask her that day? Why did you go into the men's bathroom? I felt like it would have been so awkward because we were having a really good date. I'm not even going to hold you. To be like, yo, what's up? Why you going? I just didn't ask her. I really didn't. So boom, we leave the date. We go home. We talking and we actually, I'm not even kidding you guys. We really had a great time on this date. We had so much fun that she was like, yo, what's up? What you doing tomorrow? So I was like, nothing. Let's link again. Like, you know, what's that? Now, before I did decide to link with her again, I said, hey, I have a question for you. Before we meet again, I just really want to make sure I understand what's going on. I'm like, are you transitioning in any way? I saw you walk into the men's bathroom and I just want to fully understand what's going on. She goes, no, I'm not transitioning. I go into the male's bathroom because it's so much of a headache to go into the woman's bathroom because they ask so many questions and people feel offended. I freaking believed her. We go on the second date, right? This time we go on like a little dinner date, movie date type thing. So I'm sitting a little closer to her. I look to the side and I see peach fuzz on her face. I'm like, that is hair on her fucking face. We ended up going through the date again. Second date, awesome. We had a great time together. The next day, I was still genuinely confused because I saw the hair pricklets on her face. So I'm like, look, can you just be honest with me? Were you in the process of transitioning? Are you transitioning? What's up? I'm like, you went into the male's bathroom. Your voice is quite deep. You told me you don't have periods. Like, I'm just confused. Do y'all know she eventually admitted to me that she is transitioning? She goes, yes, I'm transitioning. She goes, yes, I'm transitioning. And I felt like I couldn't tell you because it's not safe out here. She's felt like that she couldn't come out and tell me that she was transitioning because that would not be safe for her to tell me. Yet you felt like it was okay to go on a date with someone that could clearly figure it out, to be honest. What if I was transphobic? Her excuse on why she decided to lie was straight bullshit. Despite the fact that we had an amazing freaking date and I had a really good time with her, lying is an absolute fucking no. We all are going through shit. Doesn't give you the right to be deceitful and lie. I deleted Tinder after that date.
All right. So we got some context now. Okay.
Should I go first or?
Yeah, absolutely. This is your time to shine, baby. Let's talk about it.
Let me start with the fact that I tell stories on my page. So if you don't know me, a random person coming across this video may look at it like, like it could come off a little wrong. And I can definitely see that if you don't know me. But trying to go back in that moment when it happened, I was so frustrated. I was annoyed. I was like, why even pursue me? Like, why did you even come across me and try to trick me or fool me into dating you, knowing that you weren't even going to be you, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line. So when I made the video, at this point, I'm trying to, it's kind of like going through something and then trying to make a joke out of it to make you feel a little better about it. So that's what I did. I told the story and in a comical way, trying to make myself feel better about what I went through. And I think a lot of people the main comments in the video were the fact that I misgendered him. And the reason why I did, go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Just because I don't know
whose background.
I don't know whose background it is. Somebody playing music somewhere.
Yep. Okay.
You good? So for those of us who aren't familiar with Lynn, right? What's your preference?
I date women.
Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead, continue.
And my profile, I'm glad you asked because my profile said lesbian. I had a description that said, I like femmes, I like studs.
Okay.
It was very specific,
Okay.
So it's like, why even swipe right on me, And
Right.
so, but yes, a lot of people were upset saying like, okay, now, why did you continue to misgender him in the video? And the reason, to be honest, when I put myself in that moment, I was genuinely confused because when I gave him so many opportunities to come forward and say, hey, my pronouns are he, him, he didn't. And I actually said it. And I didn't even really say everything in the video because there was a moment where I actually asked him, I said, what are your pronouns? Just so I can make sure I'm respecting you. And he goes, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, I'm saying she, her, and I want to make sure you're okay. Yes, that's fine. So I was in a moment. It's almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kaden, but when you go through a moment when you decide to transition and you have to come out to your friends and family and they have to adjust to your pronouns, right? You could have been she, her your whole life. And then when you transition to your pronouns, it's not as easy as a switch to be like, cool, now I'm going to be saying he, him, even though for 10, 12, 20 years, I've been saying she. So that's what he allowed me to do the first couple weeks of us dating. You allowed me to say she, her for so long that's what I was so used to. And I know it's not a long time, but I think he was expecting me to switch. And he understood that I needed time to go back to saying he, him. And the video, that was just me letting everybody know how I felt in that moment and why I was so back and forth and why I kept saying he or why I kept saying she.
So I made my response video to it. And I never mentioned you misgendering anyone because here's the thing.
You're right. You didn't. It was not you. Kaden didn't, but
I know. I'm only saying this because as somebody who is trans, like, I think it's important to understand why I didn't mention that part. And I did not mention that part in part because you asked. You kept asking. Your profile said, I like women. You're going to assume that the people that hit you up are women. I only understood it in the sense of even what you just said. What are your pronouns? It doesn't matter. So if you're saying she, her, they said that it doesn't matter. I don't know this person personally, and I can't assume that just because they're transitioning medically that their pronouns are absolutely he, him. They could be they, him, she. It could be like people who transition medically. So people who start taking hormones and things of that nature that doesn't automatically mean that they identify as men, right? I also had to take into account, I've been doing this for 15 years, right? And before I transitioned, I dated women. And I remember the anxiety that came along with being a lesbian and only dating lesbian women and then trying to date. There was that fear of if I tell this person that I identify as a man, they're probably not going to date me, right? And the same goes with, I date men now, and the same goes with dating men. Now I'm the type of person that don't give a damn. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm going to tell you straight up, right up. I don't even want you to get the wrong idea. I don't want you to even think for a second that I was born with certain parts that I wasn't born with, right? Because I'm not wasting my time and I'm not wasting your time. There are a lot of people, however, who will date you and before anything physical happens, will then disclose that they are trans. And the reason being is because they want to feel you out as a person and see if you might be open to that. And I get that comes off as deceitful. However, they were deceitful, which is why I made the video that I made. There was nothing that wasn't deceitful. Now, if you never would have asked, and then, it seemed like things was getting hot and heavy, and it was like, hold on, wait a minute. Just so you know, this is how I identify. We would have been having a different conversation. However, you inquiring more than once is absolutely deceitful, which is why I was like, I don't agree with that at all. I do not agree with anyone.
Yes, you said that you felt like you feel like you understand why they may not be upfront in the beginning. Like,
yes,
you understand why. I don't get that part.
Yeah, and I understand that. I absolutely, as somebody who's not trans, I would understand that part. But it's daunting. It's not safe, and it's not. People, a lot of us just don't want to be catered the trans person. Oh, this person is trans. My gender identity is trans, right? But my person, who I am, is just who I am. I'm just Kaden, who happens to be trans. So I don't want you to just see me as this trans person, this item, this thing that a lot of people see us as. So we might not divulge right away. Is it being deceitful? I can see both sides of the coin, and this is why, right? So, for example, say I had, I don't know, genital herpes. When I hit you up from your profile, and I don't want to, compare transness to an STD, but this is the best way for people to understand, right? When I hit you up, the first thing I'm not gonna say, oh, by the way, I have genital herpes. If I don't know whether or not we're going to get past a certain point. So why am I divulging the most intimate parts of me to you? Right? Now, when she saw that y'all were having these great, or they or he, I don't know what their pronouns are, that y'all were connecting, they were like, okay, she keeps asking, let me go ahead and be honest, right?
I kind of get it, but I don't, because maybe the situation is different because he wasn't fully transitioned. Okay. He is still looks like a female, still has female parts. So he says, so it's like the person I am attracted to at this moment is not even going to be this person later on.
Actually, one of the things that stuck out to me the most in your video was that you don't know anything about transgender people.
Yeah.
You've never been hit on by a transgender person. You probably haven't been introduced. And so for me, I didn't touch on that part either. And the thing about it is there's no way or one way to transition. The person that you met will still be the same person 6 months from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. Will they look the same? Maybe not. But they'll still be the same person. Now, if I were to, if you were to date a woman, are they going to look the same 10 years from now? Maybe not. They might gain weight. They might lose weight. They might, I don't know, have a hormonal imbalance.
Away from that, though, right? He's not going to, he's he doesn't want the girls. Okay. He doesn't want the
Did
thing.
He tell you that?
He told me this.
Okay.
So maybe I didn't go into detail enough in the video.
Okay, right. That's important.
He wanted to fully transition. I mean, take them off and get all that. Like he wanted to.
Yeah, you didn't see.
Can I ask a question real quick? Real quick. I'm because I don't know, right? How does one transition from a woman to a man? Aside from cutting, this part off, and I've seen someone do that before. How do you get the man part though?
Okay. Let's back up. And I don't want to be too mouthy. I don't want to talk too much. But before you decide to start thinking about someone transitioning from a woman to a man, or even a man to a woman, or whatever, you have to think about what is the definition of a woman and what is the definition of a man. Now, when you think about what is the definition of a woman and what is the definition of a man, you need to think about a definition that is encompassing of all men and all women.
Right.
Do you have one?
I mean, aside from chromosomes and man parts, no.
Okay, all people that were assigned male at birth don't have man parts. They do not all, because there's castration, there's all different types of medical things that can happen. And then chromosomal, when we're talking about that part, we don't know our chromosomes. we assume our chromosomes based off our reproductive organs. They don't check our chromosomes when we're born. That's why there are people who are assigned female at birth, who on the outside they have, you know, a vagina, boobs, the whole thing. They sound that they're women. However, internally, they might have internal testicles. They might not have a uterus, and they will have XY chromosomes. So even chromosomes do not define what is a woman and what is a man. What does define what a woman and a man is society. It's a social construct. We decide what makes a man and what makes a woman, but there's no one definition that encompasses all men or all women. So when we're talking about transitioning from a woman to a man, that is left up to interpretation. You know what I mean? So how does one transition from woman to man? Honestly, if you're somebody who who was assigned female at birth and identifies as a man, you have and you identify as that in your life, and that's what you say you are. That's what you say you are. You are now transitioned from a woman to a man. You do not have to medically do anything, right? But if we're talking about what we think about as fully transition, which is what a lot of people think that we are all aspiring to be. Now, when we talk about being fully transitioned, what we're thinking is that, for example, someone like me, I was assigned female at birth, and my goal was to be as close in proximity to a cisgender man as possible. Meaning I want to mirror what a cisgender man is, meaning testosterone, top surgery, bottom surgery, hysterectomy, all of that stuff. Get rid of anything that could even remotely identify me as someone who's assigned female. But a lot of us don't get bottom surgery. A lot of us don't get top surgery. A lot of us don't take hormones. And there's a plethora of reasons for that. They could be medical, they could be spiritual, they could be financial, they could be just because we don't want to. There's a lot of reasons. However, to answer your actual question about bottom surgery is there's two types of bottom surgeries. You have a metoidioplasty and you have a phalloplasty. A metoidioplasty, so when a transgender man takes hormones, our bottom area, known as the clitoris, grows into the fashion of a small penis. And they will take that anatomy and release it because it points down. They'll release it so that it points out. And in some cases, they'll lengthen your urethra to allow you to stand and pee. In some cases, they'll do ball implants and a full vaginectomy to close up everything down there. There's also a phalloplasty where they'll take tissue and skin from either your forearm, your arm, your thigh. They're changing the places where they do that from, and they'll basically fashion a penis out of there, and then they'll connect it to the clitoris again, release that, and connect the nerves. And in some cases, they'll close the hole up, add ball implants, things of that nature. And if you're wanting to play, catch my drift, they'll add. There's like a think. I know this is kind of weird, but you remember those Reeboks, the pump it up Reeboks?
Right.
It's like that. And that's how, they're able to play.
That's interesting.
Okay. I've been informed.
He said I've been informed. So I got a question this is for anybody to answer. In your opinion, right, what would you say the safest way to tell somebody how you identify? Because, for instance, like I said, and that the analogy you gave with somebody having herpes or somebody not wanting to divulge the inner parts of them to somebody if they don't even know if it's going to get there is 100% understandable. Like I definitely get that, right? But for somebody like what Lynn said, it was like, this is what I like, and you don't fit. Like, well, you're planning on not fitting into this, right? So, I would in that instance, I definitely understand where Lynn is like, that's like I said, it was deceitful because you know for a fact if this is my preference, right, and we're all allowed to have preference. I think a lot of people throw around the word phobia way too much, just because they're not somebody's preference. Right. You know what I mean? Like you add the word phobia on it, and like you said, there's no definition for there's no definition that encompasses men or all men, or a definition that encompasses all women. But words do mean things, because you're talking to two poets, I think, right? Words do mean things. So when you have the definition, the phobia means irrational fear. Like that's what the definition is.
Hold on, pause. Phobia is irrational fear or aversion to. Right. And that's what people miss, right. Okay. So if I have an irrational aversion to you simply because of who you are, does that mean that you are for example, Lynn didn't want to date me, right? Mm-hmm. Does that automatically make her transphobic? No, absolutely not.
Right.
However, if you are someone, and I'm only using Lynn just because of whatever. Right. Like, so for example, if you are someone who, I don't know, maybe is bisexual, say Lynn was bisexual, right? And she was closed off completely from dating trans people just because they're trans. Is that transphobic? No. Is it rooted in transphobia? Yes.
All right, so because this is how can you decide? Wait, hold on one second. This is, and like I said, like this is where I was going back to. This is where I was going back to, where I feel like people use that a little too broadly, because the point is irrational. If I have a specific reason, even if the reason is you are trans, that doesn't mean it's irrational. I may say, hey, my preference is this, but because you are trans, you don't fit into my preference. That's not
right. Okay, so what's
not irrational?
Rational reason. What's the rational reason?
The rational reason is you are not my preference. That's
right.
I think that's
okay. That's really right. I hear you, but why? Because we can't. You don't have to have a reason.
That's like asking somebody why you don't like.
And vegetables. That's why it's important to say that you're not transphobic.
Hold on, wait one second. Because I definitely don't want to talk over each other. That's a preference. For me saying, hey, you know what? I like pizza. I don't really like spaghetti. That doesn't mean that I have an irrational aversion. It just means it just doesn't taste good to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, as adults, we don't need anything else other than that. Like my responsibility to make spaghetti feel good. That's not my responsibility. You see what I'm saying? So if I say, hey, you know what, pizza is what I want.
Yeah.
And I can say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I spaghetti is great for whoever likes it. I just don't like it. That doesn't mean I'm just like, oh no, spaghetti's terrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna flip out spaghettis around me. I think people say phobia because, and this is like I said, if somebody says, hey, you know what? I don't want to date a trans person literally because they might be trans. And because, hey, you know what, for me, I may want to have kids, or I may want a specific thing from somebody, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, if I say, hey, you know what, I respect you, but you're not my preference, I don't see why people get so upset and then throw the rooted in transphobia or you're transphobic. I feel like that is completely unnecessary when coming from a group that is about acceptance.
Okay. I feel like, Kaden, when you said that you feel like it's something too personal to put out there in the beginning, right? These people don't know you. And when you're dating, it's one individual that you're dating, right? You're not dating the world. So if you announce that you are transitioning, there's no further conversation if that's not their preference. So why do you?
But I didn't say too personal. Those weren't my words. But what I meant was something that is intimate, which is what the word I use, to me, right? Because we don't meet somebody and automatically start speaking about every intimate detail of ourselves. That's what I meant by that. Now to talk about the spaghetti preference. With the spaghetti preference, I hear you, but I think with phobia, and we need to talk about that words mean things. Preference means that I prefer this one thing over another thing. It doesn't mean that I'm completely closed off to this thing. I just have a greater liking to this other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, when we're talking about pizza and spaghetti, you know that you don't like spaghetti because spaghetti, you've tasted it. You know what it tastes like, right? Mm-hmm. When you say I won't date trans people, you're saying that trans people are a monolith and all trans people are the same, and therefore you know that you couldn't possibly be interested in this person because they're trans. It's just like if a white person says, I don't want to date black people. Why? Oh, I just prefer not to date black people. But why? What's so wrong with black people? You have not interacted with every black person to know that it's impossible for you to be attracted to or even want to date a black person. And I'm not comparing blackness and transness. I'm saying they're two completely things, but there are black trans people. So these are intersecting identities that we're looking at. And I'm not saying that nobody is able to have their preference. What I'm saying is in that preference, understand that it could be rooted in transphobia, homophobia, racism, ableism, etc. I personally don't date white people. That is rooted in a prejudice because I completely take white people out of the equation as though they're not an option.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
That I have these options.
Real quick. Let me ask one thing. So me and Mike, heterosexual males, right? We say we don't want to date a trans woman at all. Does that mean that is that rooted in transphobia?
Yes, and I know it sounds. I want you to understand.
It's almost like we need a
second.
It's almost like we need to.
No, let him finish. Let him finish.
I want y'all to understand that something being rooted in transphobia is not the same as being transphobic, right? It's not a personality trait. There is something in your brain that is telling you that these women are men and therefore you don't want to date them. Which is, let's think about it. If you see a trans, do you see me as a woman? Yes or no?
No, not at all. Would not have known until you.
So so y'all are both heterosexual. Both of the men here, right? Are heterosexual. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Would you date me?
No.
Why not?
Because you look like a man.
Is it because I'm fat?
No.
It's because I look like a man. Right?
I
got a beard. I got probably more hair on my chest than y'all. All this good stuff, right?
Right.
Trans women. There are trans women. There are a lot of trans women that look just like Lynn, and you probably still wouldn't date her just because she's trans. That you have to recognize that as a person, that means that you don't see that woman as a woman.
No, all right. So let me stop you real quick. Let me stop you real quick. Wait. Let me stop you right.
Okay.
Let me stop you real quick. And I don't mean to like just you know what I'm saying, jump in. We've touched on a lot of different subjects. Yeah, there are some cis women that I wouldn't date. So it's not necessarily.
Yes, but it's not because of their gender.
Wait, one second.
Wait, what's a cis woman?
Huh?
I'm lost.
A cisgender person means that you identify with the sex you were assigned at birth.
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay,
right.
Just because I'm not because I don't know. Right.
It's cool. Hey, bro, I ask questions.
I'm asking for everybody else in the comments who also don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No. Facts.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say that I love the fact that we're having this conversation equitably and not arguing with each other.
I love it.
Right. But so for me, like I said, in whether it be for people who have religious reasons, there are specific things that come with, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there are specific things that come with dating a trans person that some cis people do not deal with. Like, for instance, I'm not going to date a woman who has 2 felonies. Why? Because there's some shit she can't do. You see what I'm saying? Like, doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of reasons that can come up, or you know what I mean? Somebody who's like, you know what?
And
so if I say, hey, you know what? I'm a family man and I can't wait to have a family. A trans woman cannot give that to me.
Not true, but also I get what you're saying. What you're saying is you want because there are. First of all, let's talk about the fact that there are cis women that also can't give you a family.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
Also,
and I wouldn't date them either.
If you want a family, baby, you can have a family.
How?
What you're meaning is you want a family that is a part of your DNA. You want somebody who can bear children. I want to. But there are cis women. There are some cis women that cannot do that for you, right? Also, there are a lot of cis men who also can't do that for you.
You're 100% right, but that's not my preference either.
Your preferences are what your preferences are, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Facts.
And I think when we hear the words transphobic and transphobia, we automatically want to get defensive because it's like, I'm not transphobic. I don't have a problem with the trans community, and that's not what we're saying. We're not saying you have a problem with trans community. We're not saying that. We're saying that some part of you has not considered the fact that you just don't see trans women as women, and therefore you have X'd them out of the equation. And that in and of itself is rooted in transphobia. Does that make you a bad person? Absolutely not. Do I think that all heterosexual men should be dating trans women, and everybody who's trans people are attracted to should be interested in dating us? Absolutely not. You're allowed to have your preference. You just have to recognize and process the fact that you know what, my preference might be rooted in some sort of phobia, whether it be transphobia, homophobia, ableism, whatever.
But see, here's my problem.
Can be problematic, and that's okay.
I don't know if it can be rooted in phobia though, because
hold on one second, bro. The only problem I have with that is that my reasoning, and I feel like a lot of people's reasoning for not dating trans, if that's not your preference, because I know men who only date trans. I know women who only date trans. You know what I'm saying?
I have to stop you. Trans is a adjective, not a noun. You cannot use it singularly. So when you say trans, there needs to be something.
I apologize. You know what? I know people who date only date trans women and only date trans men. You know what I'm saying? I apologize. I didn't. You know what I mean?
No, you're good.
But I also the problem I have with the phobia and the rooted in phobia, right, is that nothing that I'm saying is irrational. You see what I'm saying? Like that's part of the definition. So now if I can rationalize it and articulate it, I can't see that being rooted in transphobia. It's just not something that I desire. It's not my desire.
Okay, so rationally, let's think about it. Mm-hmm. Let's break it down. So rationally, you meet a woman, a cisgender woman.
Right.
You go out with her. Y'all start dating. You get into this relationship all together for years. You're in love with this lady. In love.
Right.
You're like, you know what? I've always wanted a family. It's time for us to have kids. And y'all keep trying. Mm-hmm. You go to a fertility clinic and come to find out she's infertile. Are you leaving her?
Absolutely.
Ooh. Well, that
I can't take it serious. He is not. You're being for real.
Absolutely. I desire to have kids.
This is something that she doesn't know.
You see what I'm talking about?
She's withholding.
Hey, absolutely. 100%. I'm out of there. I desire to have kids. I 100% mean that on everything that I love. If a woman cannot have, I don't give a damn how long I'm married. If we cannot have children of my bloodline, I am 100% out of there.
So,
but the thing is that you can. But you can. You absolutely
Not
can.
with, not with the person that I'm in love with. I cannot have.
You can get a surrogate. You can get a surrogate with her egg. That's insane. So you only see women as baby receptacles.
No, I see them as a part of.
Yes.
I see them as a part of my blood. That's a part of my blood. That's a part of my lineage. That's a part of my hair. If I go on ancestry.com and we can't match our blood, I'm out.
So have you ever been in love? You've been in love before?
I'm married.
He's married.
And so if you're married, you have kids?
We have a 5-month-old.
Okay, prior to, say you weren't able to, this person you're in love with and you want to marry, and most people that's religious wait to actually have kids, right?
We waited till marriage to have kids.
What if you had found out she can't?
You would have married her and then left her?
You would have got a divorce?
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
I would have too.
That's her back.
Well, you know what?
Hey, it's his preference. It's
absolutely.
Right. So
that's what I'm saying.
Wait.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not rooted in a phobia for me.
It's not. I agree. It's not.
No, it's not. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It's a little ableist.
So for me,
a little sexist, a little misogynist, but
no. So for me, if I'm in love, like we've been dating, and she did not know, right? She did not know, and we talked about kids, and she wants kids, and that's something that she wants as well. And then we go to try and have kids, and we find out that she cannot. Me personally, no, I'm not leaving, right? Because I don't feel deceived at that point in time. You didn't know either. This is not your fault. This was not your choice, right? So I'm not gonna give you now, mind you, I'm gonna feel a ways. Obviously, you'll feel a ways as well, but I'm not gonna blame you for something that you didn't choose.
Okay,
now,
that was the answer I was expecting.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm agree with you.
Okay.
But but it's a preference. I'm not going.
Yes,
right,
and I
did
say that everybody can have their preference. There's nothing wrong with that. You do what you want to do. So let me ask you another question, because this was a compound question.
Okay.
Now, if they make it so that trans women can have uterine transplants and a trans woman could have your baby, would you date trans women then?
Maybe.
And see, that's what changes the narrative, right? It's still slightly, ever so slightly rooted in transphobia, but also it's like, okay, now I'm seeing it's really important for him to lay down with somebody, have a baby. And that's why I always say these conversations need to be had, because we need to understand what it is that we're talking about. If you're just closed off to dating trans people just because they're trans, that's crazy. If it's like, I have a very specific life goal that I need, and I'm not open to surrogacy or whatever the case may be, which is also kind of crazy, because you would do that with a cis woman. I mean, so like, no, if she couldn't have babies, and the only thing you could do is a surrogate or adoption, that's what you would do. No. I think that what it is that a lot of people just don't recognize that you can, if you like women, since I'm the only one that likes men, unfortunately, because I hate that I like men too. So, whatever. But if you like women, and you see trans women as women, to be completely closed off from trans women because of what you assume is going on with them is rooted in transphobia. It just is. It just is. I feel like that's very, in a way, closed-minded to how other people feel. You know what I'm saying? Like if I say I feel this way, feelings. Because think about it. A trans woman or a trans man transitions because of how they feel, correct? Yes.
Okay, so if nobody is questioning how you feel about how you're going to transition or what you want to do, nobody's saying like, oh, now, you know what I'm saying? Because when you transition, nobody's calling you gay anymore, right? Nobody's saying that, oh, no, you're still.
There are people that call them gay.
I mean, there's still people that say that, but if you want people to identify, nobody's quite like when you transition, you're like, hey, this is how I feel. And nobody's like, oh, well, that's rooted in.
It's the reason why I paused. Wait.
Nobody's saying that it's rooted in cisphobia. You see what I'm saying? Like nobody says you're cisphobic because you decided you wanted to not be what you were assigned.
Cisphobic is insane because, and here's why.
Why?
Here's why. Why? Cisphobic is okay. Cisphobic is the same as reverse racism, right? And I'm going to explain to you why. Why? Before anybody starts to.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Before anybody cusses me out, because I like to tussle, so we can tussle. You are the majority. When we're talking about power and privilege.
No. We're talking about feelings. We weren't talking about
No. We can't just talk about feelings.
No.
We cannot just talk about feelings because the reason why I was going to say the reason why when I pause about how somebody feels, yes. I feel this way, but this is also who I am. It's not just a feeling. It's not just like an emotion that's going to go away at some point. Feelings fluctuate, and they do what they do. They depend on where you're at, what's going on. Who I am is who I am, right? But when we're talking about cisphobia, there's no such thing because cisgender people are not a marginalized or a group or oppressed group of people.
So my
question, how can there be, there's no power above cisgender people. We're talking about power and privilege when we start talking about phobias.
No. Okay. So my thing is we were, like I said, we were talking about feeling, but if you're talking about who you are, right? You're talking about this is not a feeling, it's who you are. If that's who you are, and this is, I promise you, this is not a jab because I'm literally asking to understand, right? If that is who you are, like in reality, that's who you are. What is the point of transitioning? Because you're already there. The word transitioning means to transition to. Am I
great question?
Right. So
that's a great question. That is a great question. It's because of the way that society is set up. We are taught that in order to be respected as who you are, you have to look and act the part. Gender for everyone, not just trans people, is a performance. That's why there's all this discourse around what's a real man, what's a real woman, who's a real man. If a man's pants is too tight, he got to be gay, or he's not man enough, or if he gets his nails painted, he got to be gay, or he's not man enough, or women can't be too masculine and things of that nature. Gender is a performance. This is why we're taught from the minute that our parents know what genitals we have. They start dressing us a certain type of way. They start leading us towards liking certain types of colors and toys and all that stuff. Gender is a performance for everyone, literally.
Okay, because so you're saying transition. So the reason for transitioning is for acceptance in society.
Not necessarily acceptance in society. It's acceptance for self as to what society has taught us. Like for me, what society has taught me a man is.
So, all right.
And so then as I've gotten,
that makes sense. But
as I've grown, as I've gotten older, right? I've learned that I don't have to fit into what society tells me I'm supposed to look like. However, aesthetically, I like to look this way. A lot of people like to talk about my voice. And they're like, oh, well, you look like a man, but you sound like a woman. And I'm like, girl, have you met my ex-husband? He sounds way more like a woman than I do, right? This man is 6'2.5", at this point, like 300 pounds, big bearded ass, black ass man. Sounds more like a woman, and he's a cisgender man. Also, they pay attention to my mannerisms. Oh, imagine being a transition to a man and still having feminine attributes or mannerisms or whatever. I was way less feminine before I started transition than I am now. Reason being is because I've gotten comfortable with who I am. as time goes on, we start realizing gender is something that you can play with. Gender is, we mix gender and sex together so much that we forget that they're two separate things. Right, because sex is your physiology, your chromosomal makeup, your you know, all that good stuff. Gender is what we have decided a man looks like and a woman looks like in society, because again, it goes back to me saying we don't have one definition for what a woman is or for what a man is.
Right. So my like I said, and that still leaves me slightly, because you definitely hit on some good points, and I appreciate you explaining that. What still leaves me a little confused is that if gender's fluid, right? You know what I'm saying? We could agree if gender's fluid,
or it can be, yes,
or it can be, right? Yes. For somebody who decides to transition because they no longer want to be viewed as something else, right? That then you were saying it for you at least, it was more about what you were feeling and what you like to see on yourself aesthetically, right? Because you prefer that over the way you looked before, right? Okay.
Well, I always look like a boy, but I'm hearing you. Yes.
Okay. Right. So, and that's where it comes into, if the way you look now is your preference to the point that you were not willing to, because if it's fluid and if it's a performance and you could be whoever you wanted to be, right? There was a point where you were like, I don't want this anymore. Does that mean you have an aversion to how you were assigned?
No, because again, there were a couple of points that you touched on, right? Because at first you were like, oh, I don't want people to view me as, right?
Was that what you said? I didn't.
No, you said it. You said trans people transition because they don't want people to view them as something, and then you went into talking about.
No, that was a question. It wasn't a statement. It was a question.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. My fault. So my transition is specific to me. It was about how I wanted to see me. I wanted to see me. It had nothing to do with anyone else, and it had nothing to do with me being unhappy with who I was before. Like, I love who I was before. I love looking back, and I feel like my experience has shaped me and molded me into who I was. Aesthetically, I knew what I wanted to look like, right? And I wanted to look like something other than I did. Well, not really, because really all I really have different is a beard. I look exactly the same, just a beard. So I did not have an aversion. And also, I'm one of those trans people who again, I have two kids that I gave birth to. Again, 10 and 3. I've been transitioning for 15 years. I'm one of those trans people who I like what I have. Yeah. I didn't like having boobs, but a lot of people, even cis women, do not like having boobs. And there are some cis women who don't like having small boobs. They get bigger boobs. Does that mean they had an aversion too? Because we need to talk about the fact that when we're talking about gender,
that was my next
surgeries.
I'm glad you touched on that.
Cis people get more gender affirming surgeries than trans people ever will.
Right, but does that mean they have an aversion? So if somebody loses weight, does that mean they have an aversion to
no,
being fat?
Because an aversion to is like, oh, I hate this so much. I need to stay away from this. There's a difference between wanting to see yourself how you want to see yourself and being like, I hate this thing.
That's my point. That was my whole entire point. So if a person's like, hey, it's not that I hate trans people, I just really want this over here. And there's say that again, that's rooted.
My point is there's nothing wrong with that.
But
see, then it's not rooted
it's
in
not
phobia.
Classified as phobia.
Or rooted
it's
in.
Classified.
It's not rooted in.
It can't be,
because you just said that if somebody had changed this because this is the way they wanted to look.
The thing about it is, I don't know how else. I don't know how else to explain it other than if you see a woman this goes for everybody sitting here. If you see a woman that you are fully attracted to, she's giving you everything that she needs you to give, and you go over and talk to her, and her personality is bitch, everything, all the things. You'll have all these conversations, and you're like, God damn, this might be the motherfucking one. And I'm not talking to Mr. I would leave my wife if we can't have babies because you don't count. but everybody else, you meet this woman, and she is basically the woman of your dreams, right? And then she says, oh, by the way, I'm trans.
Can I ask you a question, Kaden?
Sure.
What's your preference?
I date men.
You date men. And are you married right now?
No.
But you have a boyfriend, right?
I do not have a boyfriend.
No. Okay. So if you did, and you pursued someone pursued you as a man, full blown man, and then maybe 6 months into the relationship, they said, "Just kidding. I want to transition." Would you leave them?
No. But maybe. But the only reason why is because, and that's why, Lynn, I agree with you, because I date men. I don't have an interest. I'm not attracted to women. Any woman, right? So that's why in my response video to you, I never was like, oh, she's wrong, because girl, you're right. Like you felt exactly how you felt. You acted accordingly, and especially after you divulged that they want to get bottom surgery, top surgery, all the surgeries. And it's like, okay, well, shit. You're not even non-binary at this point. Like, I maybe I would have made an exception, but like you're about to be a man and I'm a lesbian. That's different. If I was dating a man and he decided to transition into a woman, I would have if it would really depend. And that's why I said yes and no. It would really depend on, do I have actual feelings for this person? Because I feel like me, and this is just me because I'm so.
You can come over to my side and say you be out of there.
Because I was about to say you sound like
no, that's the thing. I'm being honest. The truth is, like most of me, like 85% of me says I'll be up out of there. But there's that small percentage of me that would say, do I love this person? Could I make it work? If they're everything I need, and the only thing that's changing is their gender presentation, but that's just me. That's not me saying that everybody else has to be that.
I agree. Right. That's what I'm about to say.
Yes.
So
I'm not saying, hold on, pause. The one thing that I never said was that trans people cannot be transphobic. I never said that.
Yeah, for sure. You never said that.
And I never said that trans people cannot have thought processes that are rooted in transphobia. I know a lot of trans people who have a lot of transphobic ideations. We're taught that shit.
I can't wait to talk to another trans person and be like, you might be transphobia.
You might be trans. You didn't even use
that
word.
How can I be transphobic? I'm trans. You can. And I tell trans people the same thing.
I feel like it comes down to the point where our conversations when it comes to dating need to change, when it comes to asking questions and understanding who you're talking to. And you have to ask these questions or even state, hey, my attraction is to cis females or cis males. I feel like it needs to be said from up front so we can get it out the way. And when you ask those questions, it's all about being upfront. Because what I will say I have a phobia in is lying. I'm lie-phobia.
Baby, same.
Let's be honest.
I'm lipophobic.
Yeah, I'm not
lipophobic. Listen, my thing is, what I'm saying is that I think what the biggest takeaway that I'm trying to put out there is that we all have some form of transphobia, homophobia, anti-blackness, all that in us. And the truth is, I'm about to go on a quick little rant. It's going to take 2 seconds. All of that comes from white supremacy, and all of that has been ingrained in us since we were kids. We were all taught that anything that diverges from cisgender heterosexual proximity to whiteness is wrong. And we are all subject to that. Me not wanting to date trans women, honestly, would actually not be a phobia, but the only reason why I say that there is it's because trans women are women and I only date men. However,
go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
So you have a phobia to women?
Maybe.
So look.
Maybe, but if I do,
sounds so harsh, and I get where Caden's saying the word phobia.
No, I get it,
but there's some part of us that have a phobia.
You have to accept that. Maybe.
Right. No, I get it.
Like I'm not afraid to say that my attraction could be rooted in some sort of like weird ass misogyny or patriarchy or some weird ass shit.
I don't think
preference equals phobia. A preference,
right? No, I don't think that.
Not necessarily that a preference equals phobia.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that just because you want this and you don't want that means you have a phobia to something you don't want.
I've said it over and over again.
I don't think it's rooted. I don't think it's rooted in a phobia.
It can be.
I'm not saying it can't be. I'm just saying I don't think yours or mine is. I think we just
it's
know
not automatically. We just talked about this when you said that if a trans woman could have your baby, you might be open. I just said that there is flexibility in that.
Yeah,
and I think the problem is that people want a black and white answer, and there isn't one. But so there also not but I hate using the word but. And there also needs to be the conversation that there are a lot of people who don't want to date trans people just because it's rooted in transphobia.
Right.
Just because
my thing is
y'all are the exception doesn't mean that everyone is.
You're right. But I don't think without a conversation you can label somebody. Right? So like when you
agree.
Have it, right.
Without context.
Without conversation or context, I don't think
because
you can be like
for Lynn's situation.
Right. It's different. So I don't think you can hear something and be like, "Oh, that's rooted in transphobia,"
and that's why I don't. I never do.
But you did.
When?
Today, when I was like, I don't. You were like, "No, that's rooted in."
Yeah, and then I asked for and I said that's rooted in transphobia, and then I asked more questions.
Right, but see, that's what I'm saying. Okay. And like I said, I appreciate the conversation.
Like off rip.
Right, but see, that's what I'm saying. I appreciate the conversation.
I will like absolutely
all too often, cis men or cis women get that label, and I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it does make us defensive because it's like you don't know me.
You don't even know me.
You see what I'm saying? Like you haven't even talked to me to figure out.
And I agree with you. And
you know what I'm saying? So like when it comes up, it's like, wait, how can you label me without knowing anything about
You're right.
You know what I mean? I think
is,
more conversations like this need to happen. But I think
I was just about to say that. Because me being trans does not always make me right. I say that all the time. Me being trans and doing what I do for a living does not always make me right. And the best thing that I like about myself, I'm being honest, is that I'm open to dialogue, and I'm also open to hearing everybody's side. I want to hear it because it helps me with being an educator. It helps me because I'm going to tell you what I know is fact, and then I'm going to listen to what your truth is. Fact. And I only hope that you're able to do the same.
Kaden, I don't mean to cut you off, but we getting real close on we definitely went way over time. I
was waiting to I was double dutching. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I seen it. He done got up.
I'm sorry. I'm shut up.
No. So listen, this was and is a phenomenal conversation. Thank you, Lynn, for bringing this to us because. This, like we've said multiple times tonight, this is a conversation that we all need to have in public because sometimes we only desire to have these conversations in private, and then the 100+ people that came in and out of here won't be able to have a certain understanding of what certain things are and be educated. I was educated tonight. There were some things I didn't know tonight. I was educated. You know what I'm saying? There were like there were some things in terms of a lot of different things that I wasn't sure on, that I have more clarity on. I got way more questions now for sure, but there's still some things that it's like, you know, I can see the puzzle coming together, but you know, there's still some missing pieces where I'm like, okay, I got more questions. Unfortunately, I ain't got the time to have more questions tonight. So I definitely want to say thank you to you all. I can't let this conversation go, Pops, because I got class at 8:30 and I got to teach people who pay me. So you know, it's just what it is.
I ain't mad at it.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to get, can we do like a quick 30-second closing remarks from Kaden and Lynn, and then I'm gonna do my closeout, and then as per usual, we're gonna have Mr. Smalls close us out.
Ladies first.
I don't know. Like, this was a great conversation, and like Jeff said, I learned a lot from what Kaden has spoke on tonight. I feel like a part 2 maybe, because you know, like maybe we do need to educate ourselves.
We could do like we here every Tuesday.
We here every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pull up on me.
I think what would be cool is to maybe have somewhere where people can maybe ask questions and prior
beforehand,
to, and we can go through questions as we do it, and limit how we respond so we can get through things, you know, so we're not talking for about 5 10 minutes.
Add y'all to the group chat, send us your questions, and let's talk. Send us your questions. We'll put them in the group chat. We'll put the same way we shared the videos today. We'll be able to share them on the screen. We'll be able to do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, send them to Lynn. Send them to Kaden. They'll send them to one of us, and we'll get it in.
Thank you to Michael for even, you know, telling me about it, because I didn't know. He came about it at the perfect time. I think I posted the video, and then the next day me and Michael connected, and I appreciate you for introducing me to Jeff. And Kaden, thank you so much for coming on, because when I tell you there's a lot of people that had a lot to say, but Kaden, you were the only one that was like, I'm gonna come on and talk about it. So
can we clap it up for Kaden coming on?
Give it up to you. Give it up now.
I really appreciate you. This was really good. I like it.
Kaden, what you got?
For me, thank you for having me. I really enjoy any space that feels like a safe space. As a Black gay trans man, a lot of times I don't have a lot of space to speak. I know I can be very mouthy, and I apologize for. I also have ADHD, so I'll be over talking people.
No more apologizing for being dope.
Right.
I just want to say that I think that when it comes to the trans community, people want black and white answers, and you're never going to get them. You're never ever going to get them. And attempting to insult me or demean me or whatever the case may be is not going to change the answer, because facts are facts, and that's just what it is. But I appreciate y'all, all of y'all, for at least giving me the space to speak, and I love that this is a black ass space that didn't feel combative for once. I didn't feel like I needed to be on guard. So I really, really appreciate the dialogue.
I listen, I absolutely love it. I love this conversation. I love the fact that we are here and we're able to have this conversation in unison, and with respect for each other, right? And I trust that everyone who came through here was educated tonight, this evening. And I hope that y'all gonna come back. While y'all here, man, click the subscribe button. Don't be like that, yo. Like, you here already. You might as well click the subscribe button, hit the notifications button, so you can come back every single Tuesday. And we can have more people in the box if you feel like you want to join in on this conversation. If you feeling strong,
Zaire said
letting people come in to ask questions will be so dope. You know, kind of how like they do on TikTok, you have box for like a minute or so, and they can come in and make their comments. That would be nice. That would be dope.
Look, we're growing. We're gonna have a call in. We're gonna have a call in number so y'all can call in, because we want y'all to be more a part of this, and we can't do this without y'all. Without the people that came in here today, none of this makes sense. This will be us talking to each other, and which will still be great. But you know what I mean? We want y'all to also be educated in this, and we can't say thank y'all enough. Y'all know my motto: always stay in your bag, so you never got to chase a bag. And per usual, my man Mike Smalls is going to take us out. Talk to us.
Michael, real quick, can you leave the link to Jeff? Because I think everyone is just from.
Yes, yeah.
So
listen, if
Jeff's
you
link
go
in the bio,
right, I got you. Listen, okay. Jeff, drop yours in there in the chat.
Gotcha.
Backpack Jeff, his YouTube. Follow his YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all follow Caden if you know Lynn. I'm all of y'all. I seen a million Team Lynn's in here. You know what I'm saying? So y'all already know Lynn, and everybody from the Empire already knows Lynn. So you know what I'm saying? We already love you. I want to say thank you to Lynn for allowing us to share her story and giving us more back on her story. You know what I'm saying? Coming and explaining and just being a positive entity. Caden, I appreciate you, brother, for coming in and educating and having equitable dialogue. I love you. You know what I'm saying? And if there's any way we can support, please let us know. I appreciate y'all for coming in. And with that being said, I love all of y'all because y'all deserve to be loved. Progress don't start until you feel like you should stop. And ignorance can't exist in your Sapien-like senses because knowledge is a choice, feeling is a privilege. Holla at y'all in a minute.
Yes, I love that. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.